The content presented is for entertainment purposes only. Some content may not be suitable for all viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello everybody and welcome to the Periodic Review. I am Jay Rhymes. Back over my right shoulder right here is my good buddy, Mr. Alakai in seat number 2. What was that, Rianne? Oh, you got to go up and do your homework? Okay, we'll let you do that while we have some fun. That was dumb. That was so stupid. That was so stupid.
I like how you realize that right as you're doing it. You're just like, okay.
You're stuffing things. How are you doing, Mr. Alakai?
I'm pretty good, man.
Update us on what you've been up to.
Not much. Same old. Dude, okay, so little thing. I was actually late to work today. I was an hour and a half late.
Oh.
Very unprofessional on my part.
Uh-oh.
So just to kind of explain, I work at a monitoring center and I work at 5 a.m. Actually pretty much every day I work at 5 a.m. So I go to bed really, really early. And last night I actually went to bed at a decent time. I actually fell asleep by like 8 o'clock so I could get my 8 hours.
Oh, wow. Nice.
But then my body was like, hey, it's 12:30. You want to wake up?
Oh, no.
So I woke up and I was like, oh, crap. And so I got up out of bed for a little while because I don't like to associate my my bed with feeling restless, because your mind and your body will naturally do that, where like you'll just associate your bed with feeling restless and it'll be more difficult for you to fall asleep.
Gotcha.
So I got up and I started just doing stuff around my room to keep myself productive and get myself tired again. Got back in bed like around 1, so 30 minutes, not bad.
No, it's not too terrible.
And I couldn't go back to sleep. I was tired, but my body just physically wouldn't go back to sleep. And I think the last time I looked at my phone, or not my phone, I have a clock. Last time I looked at my clock, it said 3 o'clock. And I was like, oh man, I got to be up in like an hour and a half. And next thing I know, I'm waking up and the sun's up. So I'm like, oh crap. And I texted one of my supervisors. I was like, hey, so am I totally fired or am I still good to come into work? And she was just like, nah, you're totally fine. It happens all the time. So
it happens all the time.
I was like, okay, all right. But I honestly doubt it happens all the time. But like,
yeah, I was gonna say I don't think it happens all the time, but
I think they said that to make me less worried, because I was actually like when I was first going through orientation at the place, they were like, yeah, if it's a no call, no show, you're pretty much burning a bridge there. So I was like, yeah, okay. So,
yeah. Well, at least you called. I mean,
yeah, I got a call from my coworker and I got a call from a supervisor, and I was like, all right, well,
yeah,
yikes. It was so embarrassing. It was so embarrassing, because one of my most I don't get embarrassed very easily, but one of the things that embarrasses me the most is when I mess up in front of other people. Yeah. So walking into the office super late was so humiliating. I was like, oh my goodness.
A little bit of the walk of shame.
I freaking hate this. And it was really cool. Like my coworkers were all really supportive, and they're like, hey, we're glad you're here. And I was like, oh, that's cool. But I mean, still, like, it's just so embarrassed. Like, I hate messing up in front of other people. Like, that's just not my thing. But
I feel you.
Yeah.
I feel you.
Yeah.
But everything good though? Like, you guys are good? And
yeah, I went home. Other update. So for the first time today, I actually invested in some protein powder and pre-workout, because I'm getting to that point where my body's now used to working out again.
Gotcha.
So I have never used pre-workout before in my life, and when I used it today, it was like, oh my goodness. Like, I just wasn't expecting it. Like, I was like immediately, like not immediately, but like maybe 15 minutes after taking down the pre-workout, is like immediately my body just gets all in like the tingly,
it's like,
itchy
let's
kind
go.
of feeling. And I'm like, so Felt like
I want to go to war.
felt like the freaking Northman, which is what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, like that scene where they're doing the ritual and he just starts screaming, and I'm like,
Oh gosh.
But yeah,
Seriously, some very intense scenes in
Yeah.
that film.
really excited that we're talking about that today.
Me too.
But-
Me too. That's what I really love about the way that our program works right now. Like we each kind of have a Monday we kind of have our own topic kind of steer the podcast, and then once a month at the end of the month, the last Monday, we talk about stuff that we watched and enjoyed, like whether it's TV series, whether it's film or movies, I guess we should say, and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
nothing really big on my part. I've just been preparing a lot to get ready to kind of switch my schedule around. So I've been literally working like 6 days a week for, like year and 8-9 months, something like that straight. And I'm just tired. And especially with, now working on 2 different channels now, one that's a gaming channel and one that's a podcast channel. I kind of feel like I want to make sure that I have the energy to do everything, so that I can still make money and do my job properly, but also have the energy and the know-how and the mental capacity to talk about like in-depth topics with the podcast, as well as have fun playing Diablo 2 Resurrected as well.
Yeah, and see, like, I know it's harder for you because you have a very physically demanding job. My job is not physically demanding at all. I work at a desk, so I mean, like,
I guess that's fair. I mean, it is a little more active than sitting behind a desk, but still, I'm only getting in and out of my car, maybe going 10 or 15 feet and then jumping back in my car. So
yeah, but still, I mean, like, I'm literally like, there are moments during the shift where I stand up at my desk just to keep myself just to keep my blood flowing, and I'll stand up for like maybe 15 minutes and then I'll sit back down, and then
yeah. So. Well, that's smart. You got to do that every once in a while to kind of re-engage your brain, because your brain kind of, if you sit for too long, your brain start going, okay, I guess it's time to rest now.
I get very restless. So
yeah. I get very lethargic if I sit for too long and not engaging my brain, at least.
I enjoy having my me time where I just kind of sit and do my own thing, but like I've got to be engaged in something. Yeah. So
yeah, I hear you.
And I can get I do get very, very engaged in my work. I do enjoy what I do, and I have coworkers that I can socialize with and like kind of have fun with while I'm at work.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that's really good, but still, like, sometimes it's just not enough. My brain needs more stimulus to keep my attention interested. So
yeah. So what else is new? Oh, I got to repair my car door.
Yeah. How come?
So my car door is literally like starting to fall off. So what happened? This happened a couple of months back, but it got really worse once we had that big windstorm that came through.
Yeah, that was last week, huh?
What?
Or was that 2 weeks ago?
Oh, I know what that is. Sorry, I was messing with something. I was like, did I just break it?
Gotta be present.
Yep. So the second big windstorm that came in last week, end of last week, it was just like blustery, like all day, huge gust winds. So the first time it blew my door open, like I tried to grab it and hold it, but I broke a fingernail trying to catch it.
Oh, yikes. Did that totally hurt?
Oh, it did not feel good. It bent my whole nail back.
Oh.
And you could see like the line. Like it was maybe, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch up, but still it was enough where it bent it back. And I was just like, ouch, that did not feel good.
Damn.
And then the second time, it did it even worse. So now it's cracking on the inside of the panel, the door where the hinges are at. It's actually like cracked really, really bad.
Dang.
So
that sucks.
Yeah. So it's so I've already put in for a repair. I got the first installment from my insurance company. Now I'm still waiting for the callback from the repair shop. They didn't call me back today. I emailed them like this morning around like 9 or 10 o'clock, and they haven't called me back. So I'm gonna have to call them again tomorrow. So that's gonna be fun.
The adult shit that we have to deal with that we don't like. Damn.
You know, I would just like to do what I love to do and make enough money on it to survive, and I'd be pretty dang happy.
Yeah.
And, everybody else just take care of this other BS stuff. I don't want to worry about, like, car repairs and, like, rentals and other bullshit.
All the you problems that you don't want to deal with.
Yeah, all the my problems, yeah. Yeah. Kind of a funny funny story. I actually I posted a comment on a podcast on YouTube. This is like the last time. This is when I deleted everything off my phone again, and basically was like, yeah, man. He was like, yeah, where's it all in your guys' town? Like he told us like on the podcast, and I was like, oh, it's pretty much $5 here in Cedar City. And one guy chimes in and goes, it sounds like a you problem, and I'm like, oh, okay.
He literally just asked you.
And then I was just like, yeah, well, I'm working on, making more money. I'm working hard. Yeah, go eat a Frank. And I'm like,
what
the hell? I'm like, people are just so dumb.
Go get a Frank?
Go eat a Frank is what he told me.
Oh, I was like, what?
I was like, okay, don't post on videos. Got it.
I don't even know what that means, but
I don't know. It's probably just go kick rocks.
People in comments are just weird.
Yeah.
Speaking of comments, you guys should hang out with us and chat and comment.
Yeah, absolutely.
We want to hear your thoughts as we go through talking about the shows and the movie that we're going to talk about. So.
Oh yeah, let's do our little advertisement really quick, and then we can jump right in.
Woo!
All right, so today's episode is sponsored by viewers like you, so thank you. You can send us all of your topic ideas, articles, and video links to theperiodicreview@gmail.com. If you missed the last live stream, there is no need to worry because we got you covered. The Periodic Review podcast is now free on the go at spotify.com, so don't forget to listen and rate the show today. Hopefully your subscription will be earned today, so don't forget to hit that red subscribe button, click that damn bell, and turn on your notifications so you don't miss a content release. The best way to support the channel is to share this live stream with family and friends. Crush that like button and leave a comment for us down below. The second best way to support the channel is if you have a $5 or a $10 laying around, consider donating to the channel today. All of our links are in the description down below, and welcome to the Periodic Review podcast.
Ye freaking ha!
Did I hype it up enough?
Yeah,
maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. You guys. I
just work here. Okay.
So what do we want to start with? Should we start with
Yes.
Because honestly, all three of the things that we're going to talk about today, I could spend a good while talking about all of them. But
okay. So I think because we're only like halfway in, let's do Stranger Things first.
Okay. So
let me IMDb this really quick.
Okay, cool. Stranger Things 4. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate this season?
So far,
the part 1 of the season. How would you rate part 1?
So part 1 of season 4, definitely better. A lot better than season 3, like surprisingly a lot better.
So where does better stand on the scale of 1 to 10?
Well, I was kind of like average on season 3, so I'd probably give it like a 8 or a 9 where it is right now.
All right.
And I think that's fair because they definitely overcame a lot of the obstacles. I feel like they were kind of going down the wrong road in season 3, and they just went, okay, we're not going to go that way anymore. Mm-hmm. And they just like, let's just do really good at telling the story.
Yeah.
And let's really dive into Eleven's past and not make her a let's go woke, get broke, like
dude,
antagonistic. Like
I loved how they told her story this season. I absolutely loved it because the way that they set it up in the very first episode, it makes you think that she killed all. Sorry, spoilers for season 4 of Stranger Things. Just throw that out there. If you haven't seen season 4 of Stranger Things, go watch it and then come back and watch this. So
yes.
But the way that they set it up is they make it seem like she killed everybody in the facility.
Yeah.
And it was funny because I remember when we first see 11 in season 1, you're kind of like, why is she 11? Like, what about the other numbers? And then we get a glimpse in season 2 or season 3. I think season 2.
Yeah, it was season 2 where they kind of brought in some of them. And that just
wasn't. Well, they show us number 8.
Yeah.
So they show us number 8 in season 2, and who is someone that 11 was actually very close with, from what I understand. And so they make it seem like the reason why we don't see any of the other numbers is because she killed them all. Mm-hmm. But then they save that whole reveal for the end where she's actually not the one that killed them all. It was who now has turned out to be her greatest enemy this whole entire time that we never even knew about
Yeah.
is actually related to this facility.
Yeah.
Which is amazing in how they just use that to tie everything together.
Mm-hmm.
Like the facility, the upside down,
Yep.
like how it's all in Hawk. Like, yeah.
And you could definitely tell, like, they were really going a different direction into season 2 and season 3.
Yeah.
And they definitely like almost like they brought it back to like the inception of the whole thing, like in season 1, and brought it into season 4 and kind of tied everything together as best they could.
Yeah. Because with season 2 and season 3, kind of just seemed like it was just world building.
Yeah.
For like
Too
what
long.
the upside down is, which is fine, but that's what season 1 is for. Season 2 and 3 is like where you're supposed to push the story forward. It kind of seemed like we were just sitting in.
Yeah, we're kind of sitting and waiting for the story to kind of get past all of the character and world building.
Yeah, so now that they've built up this world and they've explained the monsters and the evil that's within the upside down, I appreciate that, because now we can actually understand what's going on in season 4 and how it all ties together. So,
but I also really enjoy how the upside down isn't really like, I mean, it alludes to some like, you know, very dark and negative energy, but it doesn't like it's not like fully this is the evil in this story. It's just kind of like this is this other world that we're experiencing and finding out about. And so season 4 kind of brought it into a more nefarious. Well, season 4 part 1 brought the upside down and the creatures and, you know, who's behind it all to kind of give you more of like, it's definitely got some negative context and some evil behind it, which is really exciting. I'm so glad that Jim Hopper was not killed off.
Dude, speaking of killed off, I'm glad that he wasn't killed off, and I'm also glad that Max wasn't killed off, because that whole, like, you know, that scene that I'm going to be talking about right now.
Yeah.
That whole scene where, like, you think it's her time, and Vecna, we'll call him, is now like talking to Max and has her under his thumb in this world. That whole time I'm just like, this is it. Like, this is the character that we're going to see die. Like, this is this is how it's going to happen. I really did think that she was going to die. Yeah. And that's something that, like, a lot of shows are really bad at making the audience worried, because it's just like, oh, it's a main character, they're not going to kill him off. Yeah. But like with this, I was genuinely worried. I was like, no, Max is going to die. Like, this is it. Like, this is going to be the thing that these kids are going to see, that are going to totally break their world and freak them out enough. Granted, it did freak them out enough. Like, Max totally did a 180, and after that was like,
she totally thought she was going to die.
Yeah, like, and now she's like, okay, no, now I need my friends. Like, that was what she needed to come back to being vulnerable.
She was pushing away from everybody.
Yeah, and now she can be vulnerable and trust her friends again, because they ultimately were the ones that brought her out. Like, if they didn't put those headphones on her, they probably, there wouldn't have been an opportunity for her to run. So they gave that opportunity to her. Yeah. Which, I mean, even when she was running away, I like, half of me was like, okay, like they're not gonna just show her running away just to kill her off. But in my head, I was like, no, she's not out yet. She could still die. Like, you're watching all this stuff fall down, and I'm like, hurry up, dude. Like, I actually thought that she was, until she made it back, I was genuinely concerned that she was going to die. And I love when shows can make me that worried. So, I don't know. Good stuff, man.
It's so exciting. Like, it really is. I honestly thought, because there was so much time in between season 3 and season 4 due to COVID, the coof, that, you know, these kids would grow up so fast that it wouldn't translate very well going into this final season. And I thought they did a really great job. I was worried, but it didn't even seem like, even though they were grown up, it didn't seem like it dropped the story at all. It just kept on going, and it worked out really well. Yeah,
because most of those kids are now like, what, 18, 19?
Yeah, they're young adults now. Yeah. It's crazy.
But like, no, like I buy 11 and the rest of those kids and like Mike and Will. I buy all of them being 14.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Young, spindly little kids. Still.
honestly, oh my goodness, those kids are some good actors.
They are. They're excellent. I kind of hope that the latter part, for second part of season 4, that they kind of dive into more of Martin Brenner's or Matthew's character, Martin, aka Papa.
Yeah.
I would really like to kind of dive into like why he is doing these things.
Yeah,
where did he get the information to start doing all this stuff? Is it a government thing?
Right.
Is it like a research thing that, he's getting, money from other places? Like I kind of am curious, like what his...
So I honestly don't think...
His MO.
I honestly don't think that they're going to show anything to do with that. I really don't. I hope that they do, but I kind of feel like it's one of those things that the show's just like, just run with it. We trust the audience to just run with it.
Yeah.
So like I'm a big fan of the show, so honestly I probably will. But I mean,
yeah, I was definitely on the edge after season 3, but season 4 has definitely saved the show for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. For me, I would give this season, like part 1 of the season, I would give it an 8, and if part 2 does well enough, then I think I will probably shoot it up to a 9 or a 10.
Yeah.
Actually,
I think that's fair. Being cautious.
Nah, it can't be a 10. It would only be a 10 if like 2 and 3 were a 10. So season 1 was definitely a 10, and then seasons 2 and 3 came out and it bounced down to like a 7 for me.
Yeah, like season 1 was like a 9-10 for me, and then like season 2 was like about an 8. Season 3 I was just like, okay, I'm being cautiously optimistic and hoping season 4 is going to bring it back, so I gave it a 7. And now it's like kind of creeping back up because of this current release. So
right,
I'm excited about it. It's good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good stuff. Hopper's still my favorite character out of all of it.
I don't know that I have a favorite character, to be honest.
Yeah?
I don't know that I really have one. Yeah.
They're all really good. I mean...
Yeah. Actually, I think if I did have a favorite, the closest one that's up there probably, for me, is probably Dustin. I freaking love Dustin.
He's been absolutely consistent throughout all the seasons.
None of them would be anywhere without him.
Yep.
The guy's the freaking smartest kid on the whole show.
He's like the leader of the pack.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, love that kid. Love the actor too.
Yeah.
Dude's funny.
It's going to be interesting. I kind of hope maybe in the later seasons we'll maybe see some 90s stuff happening where we bring in some of the 90s music, and maybe we can jump into them. Instead of playing D&D, they're going to be playing like Magic the Gathering and Pokemon. That'd be kind of funny.
Well, what year?
Or some flashbacks. Flash forwards?
What year are they supposed to take place in? Like, I know it's
in
80s,
season 4.
Yeah, in season 4. Like,
yeah, I think I don't know. That's a good question.
I'm also trying to think about what music they're playing. Like, if they were playing Kate Bishop, then I mean, like, they probably weren't. Did I say Bishop?
I don't even remember the music. Wow. I don't know. I don't know.
I apologize. Not Kate Bishop.
No, you're good, dude. We can move on
know.
though. We can move on though.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna look what year Stranger Things season 4 takes place in.
Okay, copy that.
1986. So I mean, they're kind of
mid 80s, mid late 80s.
I don't know that we'll see a lot of, but
if we're going like a year per season, then yeah, we probably won't see it.
Yeah, but anyways.
But I mean, the kids are getting older. I was just like, it would probably make sense to fast forward at some point.
Yeah, right.
Just because of their age.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of reminds you of Harry Potter, though. Like, remember when they started and all those actors were like 10, 11 years old?
Yeah.
And then by the time they ended, they were all like in their 20s.
So they were all adults by the time they ended it. It was crazy.
Yeah. Dude, I saw this meme the other day. So you know about The Witcher, right? Like
Yeah.
Okay. So I saw this meme that was like, it was Voldemort. He was just like, "Hey, who are you?" And then it shows Geralt with his sword, and he's like, "The boy with coins gave the boy with round glasses gave me some coins." And Voldemort's just like, "Whoa, what?" But anyways,
No, I
Sorry.
have not seen that, but that's funny.
So
So,
are we
should we
moving on
transition to the Northman?
yeah, moving on to the Northman. Oh my goodness. Okay, again, spoilers for the Northman. If you haven't seen the Northman, go watch the Northman and then come back and watch this.
I was first introduced to Alexander Skarsgård, who is the main character in this film, during the True Blood series that was really big on HBO.
Really?
Yeah, that's how I first knew about him.
The first thing that I saw Alex Skarsgård in was Tarzan, actually.
Tarzan, really?
Yeah, he was in the live action Tarzan that came out a few years ago.
Really?
Not a bad movie. Not a great movie, but not a bad movie either.
Oh, yeah. Okay, now I remember. Yeah, you're right.
They
he was in Tarzan.
Yeah, his trainer that he works with he worked with the same trainer in the Northman as he did in Tarzan. Had a
16.
Had a very different workout plan because he's much more cut in the Northman versus with Tarzan. He's pretty beefy, but he's not like as shredded as he is in the Northman.
Yeah, he's got some serious definition.
Yeah.
If we can get little man crush going, it's impressive.
Okay, so this movie, I would give this movie a 9.5. Honestly, I would. And the only reason I'm not giving it a 10 is because I've learned after watching it with a couple friends this last weekend, I've learned that the movie doesn't completely make sense if you don't understand Norse mythology and you don't really understand a lot of the history of that time.
Yep.
So I'm a Norse mythology nerd. So
you're like, oh yeah.
So everything that's happening in this movie, like all the visions, all the like all like the historical stuff that they're doing, I'm like, oh my goodness, like this is so freaking cool.
Yeah.
And then watch it with people that don't really understand it that much, and they're so confused the whole time. And it's like, all right, well,
yeah.
I think it's super cool.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to agree with you there. Like there are some things, and that's just because I'm not completely versed in all of Norse mythology and like meaning of their visions and stuff like that. But I kind of put it together a little bit. But yeah, I can definitely see how somebody going in with zero knowledge of Norse mythology, excuse me, even that they'd be super confused.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I'm gonna give it. I think I'm gonna give it an 8.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And that's just because, like, not only with that, there isn't really much explanation with that, but there were some scenes that were super goofy. And they were supposed to be, like, super intense, like, almost all the scenes. But some of the scenes I was just like, ooh, they should have reshot that one. Because it did not translate to screen very well.
I thought a lot of the goofy ones were actually kind of funny. Like, there's that scene when he's fighting the undead and to get that sword.
Yeah.
And then he finally chops his head off and then just grabs his head and just puts it right in his ass. I thought that was so funny. I was like, honestly, the Vikings probably would do that. Like,
yeah, that wasn't one of the ones I was thinking of. But there were a few scenes I couldn't say. I mean, I'd probably be able to pick it out if we watched it again. Mm-hmm. But there's probably, I want to say 2 or 3 scenes where I was just like, ooh, that did not translate well. And Nicole Kidman, don't get me wrong, majority of the show, she did an amazing job. I think she's a great actress. Uh-huh. But I think I think 2 of those scenes were with her. And I was just like, ooh, they should have reshot that one because the intensity did not translate well.
Fair enough.
So that's why I'm giving it an 8. But overall, I thought it was a very cool film. I feel like it was definitely out of kind of the norm that we've been kind of going through as far as like picture wise and as far as the timing and stuff like that. Like it was definitely a little choppy as well.
Yeah.
But they were really trying hard to be something different than what the mainstream was. But I think they did a pretty good job for sure.
So did you know that this story was actually the story that inspired Shakespeare to write Hamlet and Macbeth?
No, I did not, but that's cool.
Yeah. So if you look at Prince Amleth's name, it's literally Hamlet just jumbled in different letters. But yeah. So the legends of like Hamlet and Macbeth are based off of this legend. So,
interesting.
yeah. I think this movie has a lot of single shots in it.
Mm-hmm.
I think my favorite single shot is probably 2 in the very beginning when he's with his raiding crew, the ritual scene, and then the raid.
Yeah.
Well, the raid was 2 shots, but yeah, that ritual. I think after watching it a second time, like that ritual made so much more sense.
Yeah.
And then the raiding scene. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he knew he was gonna die. That's why they did that.
Yeah,
that
Alex Skarsgård, man, he's like just a freaking tank going to town at this place. But
I didn't even recognize him. Like the way that they acted and like how they really embodied these characters. Like even Ethan Hawke. Like
okay, Ethan Hawke probably had one of the best performances in this movie, even though he was in it very briefly.
Yeah.
Like
I feel like he did a really great job.
That monologue that he did, like as he was talking to Fjolnir, right as he was about to die.
Mm-hmm.
So good. Yeah. So good. So good. Actually gave me chills the first time that I watched it. So
I know Bajork didn't really have much speaking throughout the film, but yeah, she was kind of one of those. I think her part, like in one of the scenes, it was just kind of like, because it kind of flips back and forth.
Is it Bajork or is it Bjork?
Bjork, Bajab, I don't know. Hoobity-hoobu? I don't know. Whatever her name is. However you say her name.
Which one did she play again? I'm not. Really
she played the Cirrus that was speaking to him in his dreams.
Oh yeah, that scene was trippy.
Super trippy. but her, like, and she really doesn't speak very much. Mm-hmm. But it's just like, it's clear that she wasn't really trying to act at all. It was just kind of like, I'm going to look interesting and I'm going to say these lines.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously she was only in that one scene.
Yeah.
She didn't really have much of a part. But
well, she was in a couple, she spoke to him a couple of times.
Really?
Throughout the film, I thought. Or was it just that one time in the beginning?
I thought it was just that one time where she gives him the teardrop back and explains his whole mission throughout the movie. Like,
yeah, I thought there was at least 2 times that she was in there.
I'm pretty sure she only talks to him once.
Oh, I thought it was like the first time, like in the beginning of the film, where she kind of lays it out what he needs to accomplish.
Yeah, I think it's
like when he's younger, and then like after he's older, and she gives him back. Like she takes the tear and then gives it back. So remember Willem Dafoe, Heimir. Yeah. So Willem Dafoe's character actually takes his tear. Remember? Oh, that's right. During the ritual.
Mm-hmm, so they were doing that ritual.
I misremembered.
They were doing that ritual, and then he grabbed that teardrop, and he was like, "This will be the last teardrop that you said. You're gonna get it back when you need it most."
Yeah.
So, yeah. Also, I want to talk about that ritual scene, not the one with his dad, but the one with the Viking raiders.
Okay. When they were dancing around the fire? Yeah.
So that's actually like a thing in Viking history. There was so there's a belief that Fenrir actually had sons. The wolf Fenrir. So those not familiar with Norse mythology, Loki, the god of mischief, had 3 children that were abominations. He had Hela, the goddess of Helheim, Jormungandr, which is the world serpent, which is just a big snake that is so big that wraps around the entire earth. Mm-hmm. And then there's the wolf Fenrir. So this crew that Prince Amleth has joined is known to be like the sons of Fenrir. So that ritual that they're doing when they're dancing around the fire, they're getting all hyped up. You can actually see them go throughout the ritual where they're getting hyped up for war.
Mhm.
And then there's that moment where they all drop to the ground, and then they all start to rise again, and they all start howling and screaming and letting out these battle cries and roars and everything. It's because their belief is that the sons of Fenrir, wolf and bear spirits, are possessing their bodies and giving them the strength to wage war and completely F up whoever they need to F up.
That's
so
cool.
Like, to me, I was like, oh, like, this is really freaking cool. Like, just because you can see them all dancing around the fire, getting hyped up, and then you see them all drop,
Right.
and then you see them just like rising back up, and it's like they're just totally going with it, and like it feels like they're actually getting possessed by these
so
wolf
cool.
and bear spirits. And Amleth's character is a hybrid between a bear and a wolf. That's what his name that he's known as in the movie is Björnulfur, which in ancient Norse means bear wolf, because he's literally a hybrid. He's as strong as a bear, but he's as agile and as cunning as a wolf.
Okay.
So that's where his character comes from. So
That's cool.
yeah.
I like it.
Sorry, just had to nerd out there for a minute.
I love it. No, that's good. Like I honestly could not give you that much information. That's exciting.
Yep. Sorry, drinking water over here.
No, you're good, dude. It's weird not having a third here, huh?
Yeah. A little less noise. That's all good.
Little less distracted on the phone, right?
Yeah.
Got him. Oh man. How about I just finished the first season of The Last Kingdom.
And what are your thoughts?
Well, here's the thing. It started out okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then somewhere in the middle, I kind of felt like it kind of lost its storytelling a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I could definitely see that, some of the episodes were rather lacking in, like I could even look at all of the stuff in the background and go, okay, I can easily recognize that that's painted. I can easily recognize that's, these aren't like real sets. And I'm just like, oh man, they'd really dropped the quality like somewhere in the middle. And the storytelling was just kind of like, we don't know which direction we're going to go. And then the last couple of episodes was incredible. And I'm really excited to watch season 2 now.
Yeah. So I think with season 1, they kind of just set it up and explain who Uhtred is.
Yeah.
They explain, they establish his relationship with King Alfred and that family.
Mm-hmm.
And his his mission to take back Bebbanburg. And yeah, so they just kind of establish who he is and how how and why his relationship with Alfred is so important.
Mm-hmm.
Season 2 on, you see a lot more of it. You understand that there's a lot of, for lack of a better word, there's a lot of bitches in the show. there's so many people in that show that I hate. But the only character that I actually root for is Uhtred, and some other characters you'll see come along the way. But I mean, there's just, it's it kind of feels like he ends up working with a bunch of snakes.
Yeah.
But
it never gets what he's looking for either.
Yeah, he's just a man that wants his own land. He wants a family, and that's all he wants. So, and
yet he's destroyed everyone that he's had along the way. Well, at least for first season.
Yeah. So okay. So what did you think of of the battle when what's his name came out with his queen? I know that was a pretty gnarly scene.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, the ending part where oh gosh, what is his name?
I forget what his name is.
Starts with an S.
Yeah, he was.
I'm
in the
looking
show for that first part of the season.
I'm looking for all the casting crew.
Yeah.
But I don't know all their names. It starts with an S. He's one of the earls.
Yeah, he's the crazy guy.
Yeah.
He's absolutely insane.
Why can't I find his name?
I don't know.
There's Guthrum. Freak, dude. I can't believe I can't remember his name.
I feel like the actor.
But anyway.
I feel like the actor that plays Guthrum is probably just a guy that loves motorcycles or something. he looks like somebody that could be in like the Hells Angels.
No, that's totally true. Like he does it totally looks like a motorhead.
Honestly, most of those guys that are like big and beefy, like
look like they'd be riding motorcycles.
Yeah, probably.
In biker gangs or something.
Yeah. I was like, this guy looks like he belongs in Sons of Anarchy.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Well, it was kind of interesting because this whole time, like Uhtred's basically, after the death of Ragnar and everything, like he is trying hard to like basically return back to where he was when he was a young kid, like basically take back what was rightfully his, but then because he was no longer there, somebody else took over. It's almost like a kind of a Game of Thrones kind of feel.
Yeah.
But it just sucks because like he has this girl, and he basically is like, all right, well, I'm trying to get my land and title back, so peace. And then he marries another girl.
The guy's with 3 different girls in season 1.
I know.
He's with Brita, and then he's with the redhead. I forget her name. And then he's with the
sorceress chick.
I forget her name. Dang.
Isolith or something like that.
I think it's just Isol.
Something like that. And then she dies, and she died. Like
that was so messed up.
His wife that he marries to basically show his allegiance to Alfred, who's basically taken the throne from Aethelwold. Aethelwold. And and then he has a baby, and he's like super happy about it. But then he's just like, oh yeah, we're gonna go plunder and pay back the church so we can kind of be out of debt. Yeah. And then like she doesn't want anything to do with him because he's a heathen, because they're Christian, like she's Christian, he's
but then they fall in love, they have a relationship, and like
for like a minute.
Yeah, I think they were together for like a year. They had a kid,
they had
together,
a baby,
so
and then he went away, and then everybody in his village was killed, and she became a nun. He married the sorceress queen from what's his bucket, in place, of defending doing some kind of like little skirmish for him.
Yeah. And
then she ended up dying in the end. I was just like, wow, this seriously is like, this guy's just tortured like the whole time. I like it. Don't get me wrong. I love it. But yeah, like it kind of felt like it definitely found its stride in those last few episodes. And I'm really excited that they hopefully got the funding and the props and everything going well. Of course, my wife is texting me during our podcast that she is not attending. Of course she is.
We love her.
So Uhtred's character is really interesting, and it's kind of interesting seeing his progression and the ending in the last episode. I'm excited to see where they're going to go with all of that.
Yeah, his character throughout the show, like Uhtred will always be Uhtred, like just
you'll always be a Dane.
Well, right, but I mean, like throughout the show, like there's a lot. He goes through a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Throughout the entire show, and it's really cool to see his character evolve. It's really cool to see just the person that he becomes. The ending of season 5, very worth it. Like it's a good show. This is probably. It is definitely in my top 3 favorite Netflix shows.
Oh wow!
Like,
okay.
Granted, I will admit that I'm biased, and when it comes to Viking stuff and that era, like
you're super into it.
I'm really into it. I love that kind of stuff. That's why like The Northman is easily in my top 3 favorite movies now.
Yeah.
So like, and now The Last Kingdom
and
is in my top 3.
it's definitely deserving. I mean, it was a great film. The way that they put it together and everything was really, original and new and fresh. And there's a lot of things I really enjoy about that film.
Yeah, right.
So other than, our normal characters. I kind of like Brida's character, but other than Uhtred, like, what are some of the characters that stuck out to you?
So a lot of the characters that I really, really like actually don't come until like season 2. Season 2, season 3. So Father Bayoka is definitely like, he's definitely one of my favorite characters, just because he is like one of those priests that's very like, praise God, but he's like, despite that, he sticks with Uhtred.
Yeah,
like
he definitely has an affinity for Uhtred for sure.
Yeah, like the man just, he, in a way, he kind of reminds me a bit of like Uncle Iroh from Avatar.
Okay.
So in a way, and you'll start to understand and see why throughout the rest of the series. But Father Bayoka is probably up there for me. There's another character that comes in on season 2. His name is Finnan. He's one of my favorites because he ends up becoming like one of the comedic reliefs of the show. He has like all these ridiculous one-liners that just totally throw you off. But love him. He's probably one of my favorites too.
What was the one guy that was with him most of the time? I always called him Arsling.
Leofrich.
Leofrich. He was hilarious.
I love that man.
He was awesome.
I love Leofrich too. I'm pretty bummed that we only got him for season 1, but I mean,
I know. Like, I was like, that would have been a really interesting character to develop throughout the season.
There is another character that's connected to Leofrich that is also another one of my favorites. I think you'll see him in season 2 or 3. I don't remember, but he's another one of my favorites. The nun that they actually saved when Winchester was getting raided. Frick, I'm forgetting her
the short-haired one that.
Yeah, she gets long hair later, but I mean, like, the short-haired nun.
Yeah.
She has a story, and she becomes like one of my favorite characters too, just because of her loyalty and her friendship and the kind of person that she is, and the kind of person that she is for Uhtred. So
I'm excited because, like, they kind of alluded. Like, I think I saw like the first like 5 minutes of like the first episode, and Uhtred's drunk, and like the whore basically stole all of his silver and took his sword. Yeah. And then she comes in, like, her hair is now grown out now. She looks great, by the way. And her and the other dude, their companion there, they just dump a bunch of cold water on him.
Yeah. Oh man.
I was like, oh, okay. I mean, that makes sense because, I mean, he had all this crap happen to him. He still doesn't have, like, all of the people that were, tending his land and everything are all dead. Like, his wife is now a nun. Like, there's nothing for him anymore. So it's like,
yeah,
like, for him to just end up like drinking and whoring, his character made sense.
Yeah,
that he's being awakened with cold water.
Yeah, I'm so excited for you to watch the rest of the season, the rest of the series, so that way we can talk about it. But yeah. I
wish I was a little farther.
Love that show so much.
The guy who plays Alfred, I feel like, was really, really good.
No,
you disagree?
Disagree? So I like Alfred's actor, but Alfred as a character, there's a lot of frustration, and you'll understand why when you see it. But yeah,
no worries. Like, they don't have to spoil it for me.
No, I'm not going to. But like,
are we gonna see?
Watch it.
Okay, can you at least tell me? Are we gonna see more of Ragnarsson and Brita? Because they're in jail right now, right?
Yeah. Their characters are very important throughout the series.
Awesome. That's good. I really like Brita.
Brita has a very. Her story is just intense, and by the end, it's like, whoa, very like, just.
I like her. Like, she's quite the badass. Like,
so Young Ragnar is probably one of my favorites too, just because he's so like, he's like the most Viking out of everybody on the show.
Oh, okay.
The guy, I love his character, but he's also very important throughout the story. They actually have Brita and Ragnar have a very detrimental part in season 2. You'll get to see it. But yeah, I'm excited for you to see that much anyway. But I will admit though, season 1 was kind of like it was but it's just one of those things that just sets up the whole series. And then the rest of the series for me was like, I need to keep watching. Like I was just watching every single episode. Like I went through it very, 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 very quickly. So
Earl Scorpa, the white horse.
Yeah, that guy. That's his name.
That's the guy that cut off
Scorpa.
the sorceress's head. His
guy's messed up.
Queen. Yeah,
guy's so messed up.
That whole battle at the end was messed up because they just, it was clear their hearts were not into it.
Yeah. But I mean,
all the
like,
Saxons were like, "We're gonna kick your ass."
But I mean, that battle is really important to like the rest of the series because they keep on going back to it. They keep on going. Oh, like, do you remember? I forget the name of the place where they had it, but do you remember the Battle of? They keep referencing it back in the very, like throughout the show. They keep referencing that battle.
Battle, okay. So it had to happen. And it had to be big.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
So, because it was the first big battle that Uhtred gave Alfred.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Trying to think, is there anything else that was really interesting about that show?
Just see, it's hard because season 1's it's just a setup for the rest of the series, but I'm excited for you to see the rest of the series because
I'm into it. I'm up for season 2, and it looks like they definitely have a lot more, like they're definitely make it feel more like a movie than like a TV series.
Yeah, I do appreciate,
which is kind of good.
It's funny because like season 1 and 2, the cinematography is like it's not that cinematic, but then like throughout the show it gets pretty like
season 1 it was very bland.
Yeah,
like the cinematography, like whoever was the filmographer did not do a great job like trying to like make it interesting.
They get better. At least I think that they get better. Granted, like the story's so investing that like you kind of forget about the cinematography anyway. But I mean, either way, I feel like it gets better throughout the show.
That's exciting. It's kind of like I'm trying to think of like, it's kind of like Vikings meets Game of Thrones, like
so
in a way, without the dragons.
For me, this show easily tops Game of Thrones for me.
Oh wow, that's
easily. I love Game of Thrones. Granted, like the last couple of seasons were mid, but like I think
series, they were less than mid. What is happening? I literally did not click on anything. I just moved your camera. What the hell?
But like this series for me, like it tops Game of Thrones for sure. My
favorite like fight scene was between him and Abba.
Oh yeah, which is a crazy thing because that's like, if you think about it, like he gets a pretty big name after that because Abba was like, he was a son of Ragnar.
Yeah, he was a big deal.
We're not talking about like Ragnar Lothbrok, the legendary Viking that everybody talks about. Like no, it's like Abba was the son of Ragnar Lothbrok. Granted, Uhtred's father Ragnar was not Ragnar Lothbrok. Just to
clarify.
Yeah, but Abba was one of those legends.
Yeah,
and Uhtred, like, he destroyed that legend.
Yeah.
So he made a name for himself, and he didn't get any credit. He didn't get any credit for it. So it's like,
yeah, Oda or whatever his name is.
Yeah, that freaking snake.
Oh, dude, he was such. I'm so glad that he got his.
Yeah.
And his father knifed him like in front of everybody. I was like, you deserve that.
The guy had to come in. Granted, like old Oda, I like his character. I like him. But young Oda, no. He's one of those little bitches that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He's one of those bitches on the show that I'm just like.
Yeah, like he went and claimed all the glory, and then he got all the status because of it. And
I apologize for using that word. I don't like using that word, but I just can't think of any other way to describe him. Like I can't think of any other way to describe those characters that I absolutely despise. I apologize. I hate using that word, but I mean,
yeah.
What are you gonna do?
It seems like they're getting like The Last Kingdom's gotten a lot of great reviews and everything. Like,
so, from what I understand, because I've only seen the first season of Vikings, The Last Kingdom, as far as historical accuracy goes, The Last Kingdom is more accurate than Vikings.
Yeah. Granted,
Uhtred of Bebbanburg was a real person, but his history and his legend isn't. The show takes liberties with him.
Gotcha.
Like he wasn't there. I don't think he was there at any of the battles to help with Alfred as far as history goes.
Mm-hmm.
But like Uhtred of Bebbanburg was a real person.
Gotcha.
But like the timeline that they kind of go out, like as far as Alfred, and then like you'll see throughout the show, his family, like that history, it's as accurate as it can be.
Yeah.
So,
what'd you think about the Vikings
season
series?
1? I liked it. Granted, like, because I know it's not historically accurate, so in my head I'm just like, oh, this is just dramatized. But like, I know that I definitely should get into the rest of the series, and I should definitely watch it because I've heard nothing but good things about it. But I mean, yeah, like
my wife and I really got into the Vikings series, and unfortunately, I kind of fell out of love with it after they killed off Ragnar.
Yeah, I did hear that Ragnar eventually dies, and that they kind of bring his sons to kind of fill the empty role in the show, which I think is great because I mean the whole legend with Ragnar Lothbrok kind of
extends through his lineage.
Yeah, so his sons end up becoming more famous than him anyway. So like, I think that's good. But I mean, from what I understand, his death is actually historically accurate from the way that they killed him off. Like that's accurate.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I was just really upset because the guy that played him was just like he was the show for me. Like
good old Travis.
Yeah, like he was the show for me. And so when he finally got to the point where he was going to be killed off, his sons were going to kind of take over everything. We're just going to follow the four boys. It just wasn't the same show for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I kind of feel like that should have been like they should have ended it at his death and then started like Viking Sons or Vikings, like the whatever. Like
I did watch
because it feels like a different show to me.
Yeah,
that's why I stopped watching it.
I did watch. I know we're not talking about it on the podcast, but I did watch Vikings Valhalla. That's all I can say about it. Like,
is that the one that's kind of like a satire?
It's supposed to be a like the sequel series to Vikings.
Oh, what am I thinking of? Because there's a Netflix series that's kind of.
You're probably thinking of Northman.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I had a hard time getting into it, but
yeah,
just because like if I want to watch something with Vikings, I want it to be like about serious Viking shit. Like I don't want to I don't want to sully all the cool stuff about it with humor and yeah, it didn't hit right for me. Whoa.
Yeah. Well, what?
Looked like there was like some kind of crazy sea monster. Interesting. Sorry, there's just like this little thing playing here.
Beowulf?
No, it's Vikings. It looks like they're on there. Wow. It's been going on for 7 years now.
Wow, that's how long it's been going?
Yeah.
Dang. Guess it clearly was successful if it's been 7 years. So.
That's baller. I'm not gonna lie. Like if you can get past season 3, you're doing pretty dang good. If you can get past season 5, you're doing great.
Yeah. So I mean, like think about Walking Dead. The show's been going on for like. Ugh. They need to be done with it.
Like the whole Okay.
I haven't seen the new season, but I know that they need to be done with it.
Everything past Rick being written off has not been great.
Really?
Yeah,
I thought so.
It's not been great.
So I watched the season with the Whispers, and I thought that was freaking cool. Just because I
hated that season.
I'm a big fan of Ryan Hurst, and I read that was like the one part in the comics that I actually read and really enjoyed. So of course, like I'm kind of biased with that, but I mean,
yeah, for me, like it's one of the things with Vikings. Like once Rick got written off, it just wasn't Walking Dead anymore for me. And I get that, and I know I'm probably gonna get some hate for it, but that's just my feelings on it. Like when you write off the main character, like it needs to end, in my opinion. Like it's hard to. I mean, clearly there's other shows that have been able to pull it off, but for me, it's hard to continue a series after the main character that's been building the show is just gone all of a sudden.
And for me, Rick is my favorite character on The Walking Dead.
Yeah,
like he will always be my favorite character on The Walking Dead because I'm a simp for Andrew Lincoln.
Yeah,
so I love that man. I don't like his Hallmark movies, but I like his work in The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
I think
seriously good.
Yeah. Freaking love Andrew Lincoln. But
final thoughts.
Yeah. Stranger Things, give it a 9 out of 10. Honestly, season 4 I would give it a 9. And Northman 9.5, and Last Kingdom. Honestly, I would also give it a 9.5.
Wow, high praises. High praises. Yeah,
For
I'm
sure.
still an 8 right now for Stranger Things until I can see it fully conclude in season 4. And if it's just as good as the first part, it'll be a 9.
Mm-hmm.
Norseman, I'm gonna keep at an 8.
Norseman.
Or the Northman, excuse me.
I was gonna say Norseman. Hold up.
Northman, same difference. No, I'm just kidding. It's. I'm sorry, Alexander. You're my homeboy. No, I mean it was still a good film. I'm still gonna give it an 8, and I mean I'm still in season 1 into the Kingdom. Goodness, because those last 2 episodes, like really, like I was just like, okay, if they continue as good as these last couple of episodes were, it's gonna be awesome. So, I guess I'm gonna give it a 7 right now. But I'm going to continue to watch it, and if it's as good as you say it is, it's probably going to get better.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about it.
I don't want to overhype it. Granted, I probably already have, but like,
you did overhype it for me. Now I have high standards of what it's going to be. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, like, just keep in mind, I'm biased when it comes to historical time periods around that era. When it comes to Vikings and Saxons and that kind of stuff, like. And Norse mythology, granted, like I'm always going to be biased about it. Like I immediately am in love with that kind of stuff. So, which cool. I'm surprised I haven't even started Viking season 2 yet. So
yeah, no, it's all good, dude. Well, all right, everybody. That concludes our episode today. Thank you all so much for watching another video. All of our links are in the description down below. And from our family to yours, good night. Say it.
Good night.
Hello everyone, Jay Rhymes with the Periodic Review. Today's video is sponsored by viewers like you, so thank you. Hopefully we've earned your subscription today, so don't forget to click that subscribe button and hit that damn bell to turn on your notifications so you don't miss a content release. Check out the video links at the end of every video to view our previous content, as well as visit the description section for more links to enjoy. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and from my family to yours, good night.